All right, man, peace. You know, brothers, I recently did a video entitled Operation Save LeBron's Legacy Volume 1. And the reason why I called it Volume 1 is because I knew that it was going to be an ongoing series. The NBA right now is trying to reclaim the LeBron narrative. They're trying to find a way to salvage it. As I tell you, brothers, incessantly, the NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball, professional boxing, professional MMA, what they call mixed martial arts, those are all sources of entertainment. Yes, they're sports, but they're also entertainment, which means they have to have compelling narratives, compelling storylines. And they're not just going to let a great character die off without using him up until there's no more juice left in that orange. And that is where LeBron James is right now. Adam Silver is looking at LeBron James and at that storyline, and he's saying to himself, he is still the most popular and the most polarizing player in our league. Yes, we have a player in Zion Williamson who we're going to hope to be able to build up to replace him in about 4 or 5 years. So right now, the timelines are linking up. Zion is going to be 19 years old. LeBron has 3 more years at least left with the Lakers. So by the time Zion is going to be willing and able to take over the NBA, LeBron should be on his way out. And then we can adjust his script and give him a nice little send-off, like how we did Dirk Nowitzki. You saw over the course of this past season, Adam Silver came out and blatantly said, it's time for Dirk Nowitzki to retire. He said that point blank because that storyline has come to an end. They put the period, exclamation point, double, triple exclamation points at the end of the Dirk Nowitzki narrative. It was time for him to go. Dirk did not want to hang it up. He didn't want to hang it up. But he got the hint from Adam Silver. But just to get back to LeBron James, I stated in Volume 1 of this series that the reason why David Griffin was the recipient of the President of Operations job with the New Orleans Pelicans is because it was very obvious to me that the owner of the Pelicans, Ms. Benson, worked together with Adam Silver to figure out how could they salvage this entire situation with Anthony Davis that was so toxically handled by everyone involved, from Magic Johnson to Dell Demps to Rob Pelinka to LeBron to Rich Paul to Anthony Davis himself. It was a very toxic situation. It was an eyesore. So what Adam Silver did, like Marcellus Wallace from Pulp Fiction, he sent in the wolf. He sent in the cleaner, the cleanup guy. In Pulp Fiction, it was played by Harvey Keitel. And this situation is played by David Griffin. And that brings me to the lottery. You know, it was so amazing to me in the build-up to the NBA lottery. So many people said, we all know the lottery is rigged. We know that the draft is rigged, blah, blah, blah. So we expect the Knicks to be the recipients of the #1 overall draft pick. And on the night of the NBA lottery, when neither the Knicks nor the Lakers were the winner of the #1 overall draft pick, everyone said, wow, I can't believe it. I thought that the NBA draft lottery was rigged. I guess it's not. And I'm thinking to myself, you fucking idiot. This is probably the most rigged lottery that I've ever seen. It could not have worked out any better. When LeBron James left the Cleveland Cavaliers, which team won the #1 pick in the NBA draft lottery? The Cleveland Cavaliers won it. I believe they were the recipients of the #1 overall pick 3 out of 4 years, at the very least 2 consecutive years. And they were able to draft Kyrie Irving. They also drafted the kid who's currently with the Minnesota Timberwolves, Andrew Wiggins. But they traded him away for Kevin Love. But just to get back to the point, it was very clear that first David Stern and then Adam Silver were working with the owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers to appease him after LeBron James left, because they understood how much of a financial loss he was going to have to endure. It's the same way now with New Orleans. They made sure that New Orleans got the #1 overall draft pick because it would not be too transparent to the two-dimensional thinkers that of any scenario where you were going to have a rigged lottery, the most obvious recipient of a rigged lottery and the #1 overall draft pick was going to be the New Orleans Pelicans, because you want to smooth out an avenue to assist New Orleans and the Lakers in pulling off a feasible trade where New Orleans can send Anthony Davis to the Lakers, bring back many of their assets, and you're also bringing in someone who's going to be super duper box office in Zion Williamson. Therefore, you can appease everyone. Everyone can be happy. The Lakers can bring in Anthony Davis. Hopefully for them, sign him to a long-term contract. Maybe bring in another top-notch free agent, if not a Kyrie Irving, maybe a Jimmy Butler. Who the hell knows? Everyone's happy. Everything is fixed. David Griffin did his job. Adam Silver now knows that he can count on the LeBron James storyline in next year's NBA playoffs. We can see how he fares against the Clippers, maybe with Kawhi, or the Golden State Warriors without KD. Now the Western Conference is going to be much more exciting. The Eastern Conference is now going to have Kevin Durant, maybe Kyrie playing on the same squad. Everybody's happy. That's how you want things to go. And that's how I knew that it was very obvious that the NBA draft lottery, it was orchestrated. That's why they gave it to New Orleans. They were not going to give it to the Lakers. That would have been stupid. There are some things that are so transparent that it becomes stupid. It becomes silly for the Lakers to have won the NBA draft lottery. If the Knicks had won the NBA draft lottery, it would have looked silly. Adam Silver hears the same things that we all hear. He knows that Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are heavily thinking about signing with the Knicks. So his attitude is, why give them Zion Williamson? They're not going to do anything with that pick anyway. Kyrie Irving cannot even play with the young guys in Boston. What makes you think he's going to be able to play with Zion Williamson? Kevin Durant is trying to win a championship right now. What is he going to do with Zion Williamson? No, we're going to give the #1 overall draft pick to the New Orleans Pelicans, and that's going to smooth everything out once David Griffin pulls the trigger on the trade to send Anthony Davis to the Lakers. That's how I see it. Now, you never know. There might be another team that offers David Griffin something that's so blockbuster that he just cannot turn it down. And then he's going to have to call up Adam Silver and just let him know. He's going to be like, Adam, look, I know why you have me here, but Boston gave me an offer that I just could not refuse. Or some other team gave me an offer that I just could not refuse. Supposedly the Brooklyn Nets are clamoring for Anthony Davis. So who knows how things are going to happen, but I promise you, the reason why David Griffin is in that job, he already has a history with LeBron James and Rich Paul working with them in Cleveland. That was his job. Adam Silver sent him in to the New Orleans Pelicans front office to clean that whole mess up. So anyway, they're going to talk about it, and I'm going to chime in.
After questions surfaced about how Zion feels about New Orleans getting that #1 pick at the draft lottery, his stepdad, Lee Anderson, went on Sports Talk Radio in Baton Rouge to clear things up. This was just earlier today. Take a listen.
How do y'all feel about potentially coming to the Crescent City?
We're excited. We're excited about that. One thing that Zion has always been taught: you accept the things that you can't change, you change the things that you can change, and this is one of the things that he had nothing to do with. It's the process of the NBA, and certainly, we're excited about the Crescent City down there in New Orleans. And you said about returning to Duke, there's been a lot of speculation, but that is nothing that we have even considered.
Not even considered, and that they are excited. Do you buy excited?
Yeah, I will, because I don't have any other reason not to believe what he says.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, no, I buy it. And look, I spoke with David Griffin a little bit, and he said he talked to him and his family for a couple hours, and they're very excited. And look, you get the.
What else are they really going to be? Zion Williamson knows that he's going to make his money no matter where he goes. Now, supposedly, he stands to lose as much as 20% of the potential optimal amount of income that he could have earned had he been drafted by the Knicks. But he's going to make that money up anyway. And if he wants to leave New Orleans, he only has to be there for another 4 or 5 years if they draft him.
These moments. I was not happy when New Jersey drafted me. I had no idea that it was close.
Didn't you try to not?
I had a really bad workout.
You say that you didn't know it was close to New York? Was that
I didn't. I was a West Coast kid. I had never been out there. I kid you not. I had never been out on the East Coast.
So in other words, you were an idiot. Because I'm from New York, I can approximate where every state amongst the 50 states of the United States is located. So, give me a break. If you didn't know where New Jersey was, that just means that you were a meathead idiot.
Other than my workout, I had no clue. The only thing I ever played in, I've never been to Jersey in my life except for the workout, and the only thing I ever played in was the Madison Square Garden, the preseason in IT. That was all I knew. I'm from LA and Phoenix.
Wait, can we show the desk here, please?
Did you get educated? I got educated quickly, but I had no idea. I didn't want to go there.
Were you using Kyrie Irving's book of maps?
I had no idea. I just...
This broad got jokes. She asked him, was he using Kyrie Irving's book of maps? These TV sportscasters, they just not going to let Kyrie slide on that flat earth stuff.
I just didn't know. And on top of it, the New Jersey Nets had won 26 games that year. I won 27 in college. I was not excited, but
I remember being
told
that you tried to tank your workout with the Nets.
I had a sprained ankle, and they had the 7th pick. I didn't think they were going to.
Was told you went out.
He said he had a sprained ankle. Bullshit.
Yeah, that was every night. But that was just I went out last night. None of that matters, So.
You still play basketball like that. Right, there you go. But yeah, there are teams you maybe would love to go to. But I said this on the show yesterday. I love the city of New Orleans. He is a Southeastern kid. I think he is going to like the city of New Orleans. Alvin Gentry is a player's coach that every player I know who's played for him has really liked. David Griffin, you can speak to, Richard, as someone who knows how to run an organization.
Alvin Gentry is another trout-mouth head coach who's not going to be able to develop talent. I don't care what anybody says. That team took a step back after they let go of Monty Williams, and it wasn't until the year before this season, last season, when New Orleans even started to approximate what they could do as a team. I thought they took a step back under Alvin Gentry. As a matter of fact, when you follow Alvin Gentry's career, most of the teams that he takes over, they take a step back. Alvin Gentry is another example of a very good assistant head coach who should not be a head coach. I'm sorry, but he should not be a head coach.
They have changed the training staff there, which was a huge complaint about that team, that they were using the Saints training staff and they had so many
Yeah, that boy Zion jumps right out the gym.
Injury issues, so hopefully that will be taken care of. We'll have to see if that training and medical.
I think most importantly, the
better.
fact that Anthony Davis, the last #1 pick, saying I want out of here, doesn't appear to have influenced Zion saying I'm okay with going there, which I think is the most important thing.
Well, Zion comes off to me as a leader. That's what I observed about him in his 1 year at Duke. All of the other players are galvanized by him, and they're also magnetized by him. He's just a natural-born leader. Anthony Davis is not. There's no leadership material about him whatsoever. When you look at the roster that Anthony Davis had, not just last year when they got to the second round of the playoffs, but also coming into this year, his team had just as much, if not more, talent than the Milwaukee Bucks had. I've said this numerous times. The difference is that Giannis is actually a leader. Anthony Davis is not a leader.
I think his comments, his stepfather's comments, should relieve the entire Pelicans organization.
And most #1 picks don't get good teams around him.
Right.
I'm not saying he's going to have a great team around him, but he's going to have either some young talent around him, some other guys that take a little bit of the pressure off. Everything won't be on him. Or he could possibly have R.J. Barrett, so he can have one of his buddies around him that's a great player. That's,
or he could have Anthony Davis.
Or he could have Anthony Davis. So for me, I have no idea what is going on around here. But that is something that, like, really, I just feel that that's a unique place for a #1 pick, to have other talent around him or a potential All-NBA guy.
I agree. He's lucky he's not going to a cesspool like the Phoenix Suns. Now, they're the team that really got screwed over. People talking about they can't believe this team is picking that high or that team's picking that high. The Phoenix Suns, they got screwed over, man. They were hoping to have the chance to get Ja Morant.
If they look, it's 3 steps down the road, but if they end up making a trade with the Knicks and R.J. Barrett is the one who in that #3 draft pick comes back to play with Zion, we sat and interviewed those two guys together on Tuesday night. They are deep in as friends, and being able to have that comfort with someone coming in would be huge for
He's
him.
in a good spot.
That would be interesting if the New Orleans Pelicans decide to greenlight the trade with the Knicks and trade Anthony Davis to New York for the #3 draft pick and, you know, some of those other pieces that the Knicks have. And then the Knicks go and sign Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Wow. Automatically they become a title contender.
We'll see what happens.
But anyway, brothers, that's basically it on that. We'll see how things go for LeBron James, for Zion Williamson, for the New Orleans Pelicans, for Anthony Davis, for the LA Lakers, for the New York Knicks. But once again, it was very obvious to me that it was a perfect rigging. If they would have had the New York Knicks or the LA Lakers win the lottery, the whole process would have become a shit show. And they couldn't have that. So they utilized nuance and discretion and intelligence. But anyway, peace.